Hey guys, what's up? I just I'm sweaty because I just got done walking the dogs and there's a hill outside my house, sorry, that's pretty brutal. I just went and donated plasma, so I'm kind of feeling kind of weak today. But anyway, uh the gun debate is kind of funny because there's a lot of things that I don't think that people really take into consideration with, regardless of what side you're on. In the US, we have this thing called, I think it's the Second Amendment. I think it's the second one. That's the right to bear arms, which basically means that you can have a gun. But but there was also this thing called an assault weapons ban that happened. I forget what year it happened, but it basically says that you can't have like a fully automatic gun after a certain that was made after a certain year, or at least I think that that's how it works. Off the top of my head, I'm not like a gun nut or a gun historian or anything. Um, but there's a lot of funny things because we still have bans in the U.S. On some things that you would think are kind of silly. Like if, sorry, I'm trying to keep this pipe lit. You got to puff it or it'll go out. But there's like I used to live in Florida, and I'm pretty sure the rule in Florida is you can have a knife, like a pocket knife or whatever, but the blade can't be longer than I think it's 4 inches or something like that. So you can have a gun, but but if you have a knife over 4 inches, it's you're in trouble in public. I mean, I don't know if you can have a gun in public in Florida. The rules change every once in a while. In Tennessee, I live in Tennessee now, and in Tennessee they passed a law a while back where you could just straight up open carry guns. Uh, every once in a while you'll run into a dude that's just got a big ass gun on his hip, like the Wild West out here. Okay, stop, Jack. The dog's bothering me. Anyway, um, man, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I'm pretty sure butterfly knives are illegal in a lot of places, which they're not even like great knives or anything. That the thing about knives is like the more moving parts you have, the more likely it is to break, and you got to be gentler with it because you can't like baton it or anything. You can't like smack it with a stick to cut through a piece of firewood or anything. You have to be gentle with it or you'll break it. You can't throw a lot of knives into trees and stuff because they'll just snap. I bought this knife one time when I was a kid that I thought was so cool. It looked so cool. And I started throwing it into trees because I thought I was cool back then. And the thing just snapped in half. The whole blade just snapped off of it. It's goofy. But yeah, and I'm pretty sure that throwing stars are illegal in a lot of places. That the little ninja things, I guess. Um, I don't know. I don't understand a lot of bans to be completely honest because a lot of them I don't think make a lot of sense. Um, but uh, we have shootings sometimes in the U.S. Um, this guy named Charlie Kirk was just shot a few days ago, I think, and so there's always this debate going on about whether or not we should have guns, and I think the one of the things that people don't consider about banning guns or gun regulation is that you can make a gun at home. If you can just look up how to do it, and you don't really need you don't need as many tools as you would think. You can make a gun out of some pipe and sheet metal, and with like some clamps, a welder, a hacksaw, a grinder would help, you know, a file, a hammer wouldn't hurt, just, and you can straight up make a gun. I don't know how, I know it's legal to do, I think, in most places, um, if not everywhere. I don't know how the rules are for making certain kinds of guns. Like, I know that guns that are imported in have to be a certain length, because I guess short barreled guns are more dangerous or something. I don't know. A lot of the gun regulation doesn't even make sense because it's passed by dudes that don't know a lot about guns. Um, but another thing that I don't think people really, really grasp is I've heard a lot of guys kind of talking shit, talking tough, saying that we need guns, in case, for one, in case you get robbed or something, or you have to defend your family or whatever, but also in case the government becomes tyrannical. Like, that's, people say that that's like kind of the point of the Second Amendment, is so that you can fight the government if you have to. The problem with fighting the American government, though, is that the American government has the United States military, and the United States military has better guns than you. So people say, they're not going to take my guns. They're not going to take my guns. But dude, they've already taken the guns that you could have fought them with. You know what I mean? Like, unless you've got like an old fully automatic, and you're able to buy some grenades. You actually, as far as I know, you actually can buy grenades, if you can get someone to sell them to you. That's the trick, I think. But there's a lot going on that I don't think people really wrap their heads around. Even if you were to ban all guns, uh, you can make a bow out of like some wood and paracord with a pocket knife. Like, I mean, it's probably not going to be great if it's the first time you've ever made a bow, but you can pick up a bow at like Walmart, and a bunch of arrows. Now, there's a lot to know about bows, but as long as you've got like the right draw length and the right um, draw weight for your body type and all, um, you can get really, really scary accurate with a bow. And bows are actually really quiet. Like, guns are loud as hell, but bows are very quiet. And you could go on a murder spree just as easily with a bow as you can with a gun. And people say, another point about guns is people say that, they think that um, uh, assault rifles, like the AR, are really like more dangerous because they're like military grade guns. And they are really good guns. Like, they're definitely good, but but um but it doesn't matter so much what kind of gun you have. You know, I mean, there was a school shooting recently where a guy went with a semi-auto gun. It was not full auto. He went with a semi-auto gun and killed two kids. I think 13 or 14 kids ended up in the hospital, and I think three adults ended up in the hospital. It's a miracle, really, that more people didn't die, because guns really, like, they can really kill you pretty easy. A lot of them make really big holes, and the one that he had was one of the it was a pretty big one. But another thing that people don't get is, like, you really don't need a fully automatic gun to do a lot of damage. A semi-auto, a lot of times police and military use semi-auto when they're clearing buildings and things, because you don't necessarily really want to just spray a bunch of bullets everywhere. You kind of just want to hit one target usually, or two or whatever, but you don't want to hit anything else, because that's property damage, and bullets go through people. So it's really risky, to shoot more bullets than you need to. But you like, semi-auto is really good. You don't need full auto. In fact, if you're new at shooting, fully automatic isn't gonna be. It's gonna be way harder for you to handle. It's gonna be harder for you to keep track of your ammunition and all that stuff. So, and it's a pain in the butt to load magazines. So you're shooting more bullets than you need to, and you have to reload more, which is a pain. So it just, like, there's so much that people don't understand because they're not educated on guns. Um, and a lot of people that debate whether or not people should be allowed to have guns or not just don't know what they're talking about. Now, my stance is, I don't really have a stance so much on it. I it I think you might as well let people have guns, because they could just make them at home if they really wanted to. And as long as a person is intelligent and responsible, and has good sense, um it's and understands gun safety and all that, and is educated on guns, that there's never really any problem with those people having guns, because they don't hurt people with them. They just have fun with them and make a lot of loud noise and spend too much money on bullets. It's like, but but then you get people that are mentally ill, or that are just really angry, or vengeful or whatever, and they get a gun, and then they can cause really a lot of mayhem, if no one's able to stop them, you know. So I think that was all the points I wanted to make. I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something, but if I am, maybe I'll just make another video about it. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.